So, welcome to this new live. Thank you very much for joining. So, today we are going to talk about 2023 goals that we have had and set widely share to every single person that you know. So today we are going to share some interesting stuff. Um, Going back to the list that we had, when we got started with the year, how far are you with your goals? And you're going to talk about the 9 truths that you need to know before as you get started with 2024 or as this year ends, as you, reflect and see how things have been over the year. I know things have been very tough, and so many people are complaining about all manner of stuff. But we are going to discuss several things, the type of mentality that you need to have as you go into this. We are going to see the 9 truths. We are going to see how you can have your best year ever in 2024. And this is all about how you want to view. How do you how do you perceive the reality? I think last perceive the world, you know, it's very, very important. And now, while they have different, we back. So if you can hear me, kindly just type on the comment section because I think something has gone wrong. I was off. So if you can hear me, just type on the comments section that you can hear me and you can see me, and I'll be able to see that. So I think something has a problem with the internet, problem with streaming live. All those are the challenges that have happened with live TV. So make sure that you comment on the comment section. Just comment, let me know if you can hear me. So let me know if you can hear me properly, and that would be great. So yeah, I think we have like 5 minutes. So basically what I want you to do is to share this live, invite your friends. Let's have with you that we've had in 2023. Definitely in terms of business, in terms of goals that you set. You know, I saw this video and I think it's just it's just good to share this uh, as we wait for people to join. Just make sure that you are sharing this live with different people. You can comment, send me a comment with the location where you're viewing from or you are joining us from. That would be great because I will be able to know, you know, where you are. But this a video that I saw. Yeah, this video was very interesting that I saw. I'm just waiting to see whether you can comment. Send me a comment on the comment section. Let me see. I want to share something with you, and this was very, very interesting. A video that was sent to me by my wife. You know, she sent to me. It's about goal setting. You know, the way you set goals in in January, and now people are changing them. You know, because you couldn't achieve them, you are changing them. Yeah, and this I think it's most of us. You know, most people who are not able to hit their goals. Most there are other section of people who really went ahead and achieved their goals. Now there are some of my goals that I've been able to achieve, others I've not been able to achieve, and I'm going to be sharing with you some of the mindset shift that has happened to me, and this is some time back after watching the video from Jim Rohn. So we are going to review Jim Rohn's teachings and see what it is that we can take from there to help us achieve our goals much better. So now, just waiting to see some more people joining. So make sure that you're sharing this live with as many people as possible. 2 minutes to go. Make sure that you're sharing this live with as many people as possible. We have like 2 minutes to go. And now this is the video. This is the video that was shared to me. And I think it's very, very interesting video for anyone to see. Let me see whether I can get it. Yeah. Let me see. There you go. Don't know whether, but this was very very interesting video. So this guy is is changing the goals. You know, is changing the goals. So like they had goals to do what to have a house. Is that one of them? Like save, had goals to save several goals, several goals there, but now he's changing. He's changing one by one, to fit the situation as it is. Uh, and I think that was very, very interesting. It was interesting to watch. It was interesting to understand that challenge as a challenge that is happening, you know, with us as individuals. And yeah, that's basically life. And I want to talk about those challenges that people are facing as they try to come to terms with how the year has ended or is ending. Some people can't wait for this year to end so that they can start off on a new leaf next year. There are others who are really excited to finish this year strong. So, like, they are putting all their effort into it to finish strong. There are others who are like, you know what? I don't want this year to end because it has been so good for them. Most right now are complaining the economy, the inflation rates, and all that. And all those people are giving those the inflation, the government, you know, the employer, not there being money, all those the people are giving those as excuses and as reasons why they have not been able to achieve what they wanted to achieve. And today I'm going to walk you through something that I had like 8 years, 10 years ago from this video. It was a 4-hour video that I sat and watched, took notes, and then said I have to start implementing. And last time I talked about having new knowledge and not acting upon it. That's just like having no new knowledge at all. If you can't act on the new knowledge that you have, you're still as ignorant as that person who never got to know that new knowledge. So the only difference, people say that knowledge is power, but actually knowledge is not power. If you have knowledge and you are not acting on it, you have no power. Power is in execution of the new things that you have learned. Once you execute on the new knowledge, then you have the power. But if knowledge was power, like right now, everybody would be so powerful because knowledge is is there for everyone. There are YouTube videos, there are learning platforms, information is out there, people are being informed, but people are still not yet as powerful as we thought when that information was not. So there was not no proliferation of information. We thought that getting information was the most important thing, and that would make you powerful. But for the people who had the information, for people who knew what it means to act on new information, those are the people who are actually even succeeding right now with all the new information. And so it's so easy now for anyone to be informed, to know what's going on and things like that. So it's not about the knowledge, it's not about the information you have. That doesn't make you powerful. What makes you powerful is execution. When you commit to executing what you've learned, that's when you have the power. That's when you have the miracles. The miracles only happen when you act, you know, and we are also told, faith without action is dead. So basically, it's about action. If you can't act, you have no power, you cannot move forward. And a miracle basically You can't even experience that miracle if you're not on the move, if you're not acting, if you're not doing anything. So we are going to get into all that. We are going to get into really interesting things. And as we discuss how you can take over 2024, with a different mindset and setting yourself up for success in 2024. But we still have like a month and 10 days, 11 days to go. And yeah, so this is the time you start planning. Don't wait for January to start planning. Plan your year now. Go back to what has happened in 2023 now, review it, reflect, see the situations, how the situation has been, and understand, is it a mindset problem that you have? Is it execution? Is it that you're not acting on the things that you already know that you should be doing? Because so many people are paralyzed with the information they are getting. Like, you get so much information and you're paralyzed. You cannot move because you can do this, you can do that. We have options. And I think this is one of the, if you want for people to delay in doing anything, just give them so many options. If you go to a shop and you can only buy two things, two flavors, either vanilla or strawberry, you have only those two choices to make. But if you go there and you have so many choices, then you start thinking, you start trying to figure out which one is the best for you. You take too much time thinking and not acting. So when you give people, and when you yourself, you have a mindset that you have plan A, you have plan B, you have plan C, that if A doesn't work, you have a B plan, then you will never act and you will never commit fully to making plan A succeed. Because anytime that you face a single problem, anytime you face a challenge, a simple challenge, instead of trying to resolve it, you go back to your plan B, and you think, oh, plan A is not working, let me go back to plan B. So my aim here is to tell you to look back into the year, whether it has been very successful, whether it hasn't been as successful. Just look back into that year and try and understand what is it that you've done or not done that has led you to be at the point where you are at right now. So, and to help us do that, we are going to review a video that I've watched severally myself. And I think this video will be very, very helpful to anyone who's going to listen to this. So let me just share that video. And I'm just waiting for a while. And this is a video from Jim Rohn. I think he did this in some time back.
And the reason I say that is because time is more valuable than money. You
You
can get more money, but unfortunately you can't get more time. If somebody asks you to spend your money, that's pretty easy, right? We live in America. We're wealthy. So the money's not the problem. But what if somebody asks you to spend a day, right? You got to think that over carefully. But, I don't need the money. I take the money, but I don't need the money. But guess what I do need? The time. Things don't just happen. Things happen.
I take the money, but
so we don't mistake sincerity for truth, right? Sincerity is only a test of sincerity. Truth has to yet be tested by truth. Ideas can be life-changing. Ideas can be life-changing. And sometimes all you need is just one more in a series of good ideas. It's like dialing the numbers into the lock, right? You got 5 or 6 numbers dialed into the lock. The lock still won't come open, but you don't need 5 or 6 more numbers. Maybe you just need one more. And maybe a seminar like this could do it. A sermon could do it. The lyrics from a song could do it. The dialogue from a movie could do it. Conversation with a friend might do it. That one last piece you need, number. Dial it into the lock, that's it. The lock comes open, there's the door for you to walk through. And maybe this seminar today could furnish that for you. One more idea. I know you've come with a lot already. Sometimes we get the impression, I used to have that I only had this much going for me and I needed this much. Usually not true. And I'm sure not true of this audience, where I find you today, as well dressed as you look today. You know, as fine as you are sitting here today, it isn't that, you've got this much going for you and you need this much. I would assume you've got this much going for you and maybe all you need is just a few more thoughts, ideas, to furnish you some ways and means to turn your life into the dream you want it to be. So, ideas. The seminar is going to be loaded with ideas. I want you to take good notes. But here's what else I hope you'll find here today, and that is inspiration. And who knows the mystery of inspiration? Why some people are inspired and some are not? You were inspired to get here. Some were not. Who knows the mystery of that? I don't know. How come you made it? The rest of them didn't make it. We don't know what that mystery is. Some people turned it down. Some people said it costs too much. Some people said it's going to take too much time. Some people are too busy, right? A lot of different excuses why some are inspired to take advantage of something that comes to town. Others pass it up. We don't know the mystery to that. Here's what I call it, mysteries of the mind. And I just leave it at that. Some things I don't try to figure out. I take the simple approach now. Right? Some people do and some people don't. I mean, that's about as profound as my philosophy is. Some buy and some don't buy. Some go for it and some don't. Some change and some don't. And if you've been around for a while, you can usually work out the numbers, right? Out of 10, 3 do, 7 don't. Whatever business you're involved in, pretty soon you got this ratio going. The ones that do, the ones that don't. You say, well, why don't the ones that don't, how come they don't? We don't know. I just leave it as a mystery. I used to try to understand all that. I just take the simple approach now. The guy says, this happens to me, this happens to me, this goes wrong for me, and all this stuff goes wrong for me. How come all this stuff happens to me? I say, I don't know, it beats me. The best I've been able to figure out is those kind of things always happen to people like you. I mean, right? That's the best I got. I don't know. I'm an amateur on this stuff. What do I know? So, just take the simple approach, right? That's how it is. Who knows? Interesting story says, the day the Christian church was started. Now, I'm an amateur on the Bible, but best account I can remember, the day the Christian church was started, a magnificent sermon was preached. Great presentation. And if you're a student at all of good communication, it was one of the classic presentations of all times. The sermon, the first day the Christian church was started. And it said this sermon, this presentation was given to a multitude, meaning a lot of people. But it was interesting, as the account gives us, the record, it says, when the sermon was finished, there was a variety of reaction to the same sermon. Isn't that fascinating? I find it fascinating. It said some that heard this presentation were perplexed. And I read the presentation, it sounded pretty straightforward to me. I said, why would somebody be perplexed with a good, sincere, straightforward presentation? Best answer I've got. They are the perplexed. I mean, what other explanation is there? It doesn't matter who's preaching. Right? It said some that heard this presentation mocked and laughed, made fun of the presentation. I thought, hey, this looks pretty sincere to me. If you give a sincere, honest presentation, why would somebody mock and laugh? Easy explanation. They are the mockers and the laughers. What else would you expect them to do? Right? I used to try to straighten all that out, say, well, they shouldn't do that. I don't do that anymore. I've got peace of mind now. I can sleep like a baby, not try to straighten all this stuff out. I used to be so naive. I used to say, well, liars shouldn't lie. See, how naive can you be? Of course they're supposed to lie. That's why we call them liars. They lie. They lie. So I don't straighten this stuff out anymore. Anyway, it said some that heard this magnificent presentation didn't know what was going on. And they're usually easy to spot. They're usually saying, what's going on, right? I mean, they don't know what's going on. But interesting, right? A variety of reaction to the same sincere, honest presentation. Now, it also says, in wrapping it up, some that heard the presentation believed. And I think that's who the speaker was looking for, the believers. Interesting. Now, it said the number of believers was about 3,000. So, pretty good first day. 3,000. I've had some first days, but I never had 3,000. But anyway, 3,000 were believers. And that's, the speaker was looking for the believers out of this multitude. And that's about as close as we can come to understanding the mystery. Some believe, and some mock, and some laugh, and some are perplexed, and some don't know what's going on. And you just have to leave it that way. Why? Because that's the way it's going to be. The way to be brilliant is to find out how it's going to be and then say, here's how it should be. I mean, that's how you become brilliant. So, anyway, who knows the mystery? I call it mysteries of the mind. We don't understand. But I don't try to change it anymore. On this particular story, as far as we know, they didn't have classes after the presentation to try to de-perplex the perplexed. I mean, as far as we know, they left them perplexed. They left the mockers mocking. They let the laughers laugh. I mean, they didn't come back and try to straighten all this out. You say, well, how can you build a church? Well, make another presentation, and you'll get some believers and some mockers and some laughers and some who don't know what's going on. So that's about the best we can do. So, but I'm glad I've got the believers here today. You believed enough to shell out your cash and part with your time and some of your effort and energy, and I appreciate that. Let's be thankful for what we already have. Thanksgiving does this. Opens up the doors, opens up the windows, opens up the channels. Thanksgiving for what you already have. Unbelievable. Anyway, let's be thankful. Here's what locks up the doors and the channels to receive more. Cynicism. That locks you away. That prevents you from learning more. Being a cynic about the past and the future. A cynic about the marketplace. Cynical about the people. Cynical about the institutions. Cynical about the setup. Listen well. That's going to be a challenge today. I understand that. Seems like most of, our life is still going on outside these four walls, right? Most of our life seems like it's all, continuing out there. Family and business and associates and market and economy and whatever else is happening in the midst of your life. And to sort of, pull your attention from what's going on out there and put it in here for just a few hours, I know is a challenge. But do the best you can and listen well. And here's the last one. Take good notes. Be a good student today. Take some good notes. I've not come to entertain you. As you can tell by my opening joke, right? I would not make it in Las Vegas. So we don't have a dog and pony show today. No entertainment. But I do have some ideas. Take some good notes. Somebody showed me the other day notes that they took about 21 years ago attending one of my seminars out in Los Angeles. He said, I still use these notes I took 21 years ago to help me in my business, relationship with my family. So I'd like to have these notes that you take today become that valuable for you. Then it would be worth me making the investment to come and spend a portion of my life, my time, my energy here. And I want this investment I'm making here today to pay off. And one of the ways it can pay off for me is for you to take good notes and then go away and use whatever makes sense. Because what I feast on coming back around is the stories out of this audience today. Sure enough, 6 weeks from now, 6 months from now, 6 years from now, somebody's going to, by phone, by letter, by personal contact, walk up to me and say, the things you shared that day got me thinking. And I started making some changes, and let me tell you what's happened to my business, let me tell you what's happened to my sales career, let me tell you what's happened to my relationship with my family. See, that'll make it worth it for me. Not the money, the return, something you can't buy with money. If somebody says, thank you for touching my life and taking the time to make the investment. And that's what I'm all about. So if you'll become a good student today, and here's the last note, don't be a follower, be a student. You'll be happy to know today we haven't come seeking disciples. We've got no movement for you to join. I'm just here to share some of my experiences, good ideas, best I can. But I think that's good advice. Don't be a follower, be a student, right? Take advice, but not orders. Take information, but don't let somebody, order your life. Make sure what you do is the product of your own conclusion. Excellent note to make. Make sure what you do is the product of your own conclusion, not to do what someone else says. Take what someone else says, process it, think about it, ponder it. If it makes you wonder, if it makes you think, then it's valuable. Then, when you go take action, make sure that the action is not what somebody told you to do. Make sure the action is the product of your own conclusion.
Very, very interesting. Now, this is a montage that I've prepared. Basically, this was that section that I've cut together, I've pieced together. That was about 30 minutes, that minute of content that I tried to put together, basically to see the points that I want us to go through. So I want us to go through 9 points from that, from the whole of that clip. And basically to understand the mindset that we want to go with as we get into 2024. And what I want you guys to understand and see is, what is it that I've done in 2023? What are the actions that I've taken? What are the, probably even the things that the opportunities that I had and I didn't take because probably I don't know something. The other thing could be I couldn't do it because of different reasons. What are all those things that you actually had an opportunity to do, but you didn't do? So number one there, he started off talking about time. And he said that time is more valuable than money. And this is a notion that has been repeated by several of the people that I've been listening to. You know, that time is infinitely more valuable than money. So whenever you're thinking, and this, once you start seeing time as the most valuable thing that you have, then you start spending your money more wisely to redeem time. You know, every opportunity that you get where you can spend money to get your time back, then you spend the money to get your time back. Whenever you are spending time, let's say like the moment that we are spending with you right now on this live, this is so much valuable than anything that you would have paid, you know, because you are spending time. And once you spend it, it never comes back. You know, that is gone, it's gone forever. You can always make more money. You can always make your money back. If you lose money, you can always make it back, but you can never recover time. Once it's gone, it's gone. And this was an eye opener for me when I first heard it. That time is much more valuable than money. We always say time is money. So I've lived my life thinking that time equals money, you know? So it's like an exchange. If I can exchange money with time, I'm all good, you know? If I can work on this project and then you pay me for that, I'm all good, because time is money. Time is money. Masani pesa dugu. But now this one changes your mind. This one changes your perspective about time, knowing that time, there is nothing you can be given to spend your life in a different way. And anything that you spend your money or your time on has to be far much more valuable than the way you can spend your money on the same thing, you know? And now this gives you a perspective on how you spend your money and how you spend your time. So if I'm in a situation where I'm going to spend a lot of time trying to figure something out, and I can pay somebody else to help me figure it out quickly, then I would opt to pay to get that thing, to know that thing more quickly, as opposed to trying to find it out on my own, you know? And for the longest, most people think, you know, experience is the best teacher, but all what it does is that experience takes time, you know? Experience takes your time. And you can either learn from your own experiences or from experiences of others. So if you can get a mentor in an area of your life, whether business, whether life, health, relationships. If you can get a mentor to help you walk through that journey quickly, not to make mistakes that other people are making or that your mentor have made, if they can take you through that and shorten that time frame, if you could have spent a year, you spend 1 month or 2 months, you know, that person is saving you quite a lot. It's so much valuable that you want to pay that person to teach you those things as opposed to you experiencing it and wasting a whole year to learn something that you could have learned in 2 months. And now you start seeing money differently, you start seeing time differently. And now you can spend your money whenever you are able to do it. Spend money to recover your time. Spend money to recover your time. If you have the money, spend the money to recover your time. Because once you spend your time, it's gone and it's gone forever. If you spend your money, you can always make it back. And some things that you learn in that short period of time can help you to make even more money. So that distinction, I think that is the first thing as you go into 2024, you want to rethink the way you're spending your time, rethink the way you're spending your money, and rethink what you're spending your money on as opposed to what you're spending your time on. You know, you could be spending your time with friends that don't care about you, or you could be spending your time with family that care about you, and probably spend your money on things that really don't matter to you as much. You're spending your money, you're spending your time on things that don't matter to you. So it's very, very important that you look at it and you come up with a way as you go into 2024. Come up with a way that you're going to redeem your time. And one of the verses that I've heard from the Bible, I don't know which verse exactly, but it says redeem, you know, redeeming time. It talks about redeeming time for the times are hard. Redeeming your time for the times are hard. How do you redeem your time? That is the question you want to ask yourself. How do you redeem your time? So that is the first thing. The first thing is that time is infinitely more valuable than money. Don't equate time with money. Don't let people or treat you as, you know, spend your money or spend your time wisely, more wisely. Think about the way you spend your time. And on that video, Jim talks about, if you are asked to spend a day, you want to think, if that was your last day and you're asked, how do you want to spend it? You would rethink the way you're spending that day. You would probably spend it doing different things as opposed to the things that you're spending your day on right now. So rethink that. See in the coming years, see how you're spending your time. See whether you can improve on what you're spending your time on, and then spend your money to redeem your time. It will help you greatly. If you can learn something quickly by spending money, spend money to learn it quickly, and save yourself time. So the next thing that is talked about there was that things don't just happen; things happen just. You know, and this for me was amazing because most people complain about so many things. And this is where he was talking about people complaining. People complain about the government. People complain about their neighbors, their uncle who's not helping them. They took the CV but have never said anything. It's been 5 years now since your uncle took your CV with a promise of getting you a job somewhere. Now you're blaming them for your bad life, for the difficult life that you're living. Others are blaming the government. You know, tulichaguana, tuliamka asubuhi kuchaguana. Na sasa maisha imekuwa ngumu. I had somebody a clip on TikTok, mtu anasema eti yeye anarudi kwao Kongo, you know. Ni Mkikuyu, so anasema yeye anarudi kwao Kongo, wala wengine wanarudi kwao sijui wapi. And that just goes to show that people are blaming the government, people are blaming the president for the difficult life that they are living, you know. And you will always find something to blame. And on that list of the people to blame, you will never find them on that list. Like, the reasons why this economy or why you have a difficult life, taanza kusema serikali, taxes ndizo hizo wanaongeza venye wanataka, ID wanatulipisha vile wanataka, mafuta imepanda. You're going to jot down a whole list of things that are making your life difficult. But on that list, you will never put yourself, you know? And one of the greatest reasons why you have a difficult life is you. Wewe ndo mwenye kufanya maisha yako ikuwe ngumu. Wewe ndo umechagua complain. You're choosing to complain instead of spending your time being useful. And I think this was some time on our last video, on our last live, we talked about when you complain, you are taking the negative energy. You are focusing your attention on the wrong thing. So that one gives you anxiety. And once you get anxiety, it takes off your ability to act. You know, umekaa hapo umeshtuka, unashangaa tutafanya nini. You can't really think of ideas that can actually help you. So on that list, the biggest part should be you. Serikali hautageuza. Kulikuwa na serikali hizo zote zenye zimekuwa, it hasn't changed, you know. Things are much better now in terms of access to technology and everything. They are much better now than they were 10, 20 years ago, you know. But the problem, the complaints that people had 20 years ago are the same complaints that people have now. So the complaints will never end. People will always complain that the government is not doing enough, the taxes are too high. People will always say kuna kiangazi, you know, hakuna mvua. Ikiwa mingi watasema mvua ni mingi, hata imeharibu vitu. So there will always be something to complain about. But one of the things you need to ask yourself is, once you are through with your list of complaint, what is it that is there, that is left? You know, ukishasema serikali ni mbaya, useme economy ni mbaya, useme weather, you know, you are blaming weather ni mbaya. Then uanze kusema sijui hata ulizaliwa sijui wapi, kwenu nyinyi wote ni maskini. You know, once you are through with your list of people to blame, you are left with nothing. You know, like there is nothing to do. Unakaa hapo unasema sasa hata how do you expect me to succeed if taxes are high, if sijui government economy imeenda juu, fuel prices to the roof, and I can guarantee you, even if they were to be even if you are to be given fuel for free, there will still be people who are complaining. You know, you would still find something to complain about, because it's not about the things that are happening to you, because the things that happen don't just happen. Things that happen happen just, you know, they are justly happening. It's justified for the economy to go up. It's justified for for prices to be high. It's justified for you to be taxed. It's justified for the rain to rain the way it's raining. And it's justified for the sun to come out and shine upon us the way it's shining. You know, all those things are good. And it's now upon you to use that which you've been given for your own benefit, you know. And these things you are given for you to work with. And once you stop complaining, and I'm going to talk about that later on as a point on its own, once you stop complaining and understand that things don't just happen, things happen just. You stop complaining, you take it at its own stride, you know, as things come, you know, they are not just happening, they are happening just, you know. Like, this is what's supposed to be happening right now in my life. How now do I react to it, you know? What is it that I need to do? Now, that is very, very critical. And when I when that, you know, when I watched the video for the first time and understood that I can't just sit there thinking that things are happening and things are just happening, you know, I need to take action. When this thing happened, I need to be prepared. When something else happened, I need to be prepared all the time. And the question is, how many people do I need to talk to be prepared for that situation? How many books, how many videos, how many seminars do I need to attend to be prepared for that event or for whatever it is that is happening? Now, that thing that he said, and those things, by the way, are scrolling on the screen up. So that thing that he said was that you don't mistake sincerity for truth. You know, as he started, he said that he hoped that people would find him sincere as he spoke. You know, even as I'm speaking right now to you, I'm hoping that you find me sincere. But just because I'm sincere doesn't mean that I'm truthful, because it's possible for me to be sincerely wrong. You know, I can be sincerely wrong. So now it's upon you to be sure, you know, and this is the reason why so many people are misled, you know, because somebody came, he was sincerely wrong because he didn't know anything else, you know. So whatever he was presenting was so sincere, and he presented it as the truth, and then you picked it and acted on it as if it was truth, without you judging each aspect of it by its own merit. You know, judge sincerity by sincerity, judge truth by truth, you know, investigate whether that's true. And somebody else said that, you know, you trust but you confirm, you know. Anything that somebody brings you, whether it's a report that you're given by anybody, by your financial advisor, by anybody, once you're given that information, you know, trust them but verify, you know, because they could be sincere with what they're saying, but it might not be truthful, you know. So investigate. Na sasa hapa ndo unaambiangwa also, especially in marketing, you know, you might go selling something to somebody and they're so courteous, they're smiling at you, they're telling you it's okay, thank you very much, they're very courteous. And you are told, don't mistake that with consent, don't mistake that with this guy is going to buy, you know. Just because they are courteous doesn't mean that they are going to buy. They only buy when they sign that contract, you know. When they have sent money to the bank, that's when you know that they actually want what you are selling, you know. So don't mistake courtesy for consent. Na bado kulingana na lugha wanasema guthakioti kwendo. So just because somebody is smiling at you, you go there, you're trying to talk to a girl or a guy, and then they're smiling, you know, and then you think you're loved, you know. That's not the case. When they're smiling, they're just being nice. When they will love you, they will tell you, you know. So just don't confuse people being nice, people being courteous, people being sincere with other things, you know. Just take it as it is. So basically, as you go on to 2024, don't be misled by people's, you know, what do we call it? Demeanor, you know. Don't be confused by that. If you want something, go for what you're going for. You know, if you're asking for a sale, ask for a sale. Ask them to buy. Ask them to send the money. And just today, I was reading a post from one of the biggest uh, billionaire ladies in Kenya, Madam CEO, and she was talking about, you know, talking to young entrepreneurs. They had this very good business, but the business is on its knees because customers are not paying. You know, their customers are not paying, and it's this issue, and they, you know, people are complaining everywhere that there is no money, and then you take that as the truth. You know, if they're saying there's no money, then you need to stop delivering the service to them. You know, and these are decisions that you have to make that are very hard because the minute, you know, and she was saying actually that, you know, if they're not paying, drop them. You know, if they're not paying, drop them. Because there is no two ways about your business. If there is no cash flow, there's no business. So it's very important for you to understand in the business that you're in, if you're spending your own money to deliver a service and your client is claiming there's no money, it's okay. And for me, that's how I roll. I usually say, if you can pay me now and you can pay me at the end of the month, no problem. We'll start the contract at the end of the month. You know, I can wait, but I can start spending my own money on something that you're not yet committed to. You know, I know you're good. I know you want this thing, but if you can pay me now, you can pay me later. We can always start that contract later because it's about the money. For business to grow, it's about the money. If you're not making money for your business, then you're in charity, my friend, and you need to start looking for donors because even in that charity, you have to struggle looking for people to give you money, you know? So it's very, very important that you understand. Do not mistake sincerity for truth. Don't mistake courtesy for consent. Now, and now that thing, and those were revelations or realizations that I came to understand, and I was like, I have to employ this in my own life, you know. And listening, I think I should share the full clip. Probably I'll just upload it on my own YouTube channel because everybody else is uploading it on their own channel. And I think the reason why this was so life changing for me, it was because it was confirming so many things, so many questions that I had, you know, so many questions that you had. You have this mentality, but you're questioning. You're not, you can't go fully into it and commit to it because you don't know whether that's the right thing to do. And now me listening to that video was like, oh, so this is actually the right thing to do. And then I commit. So also for you, I want you to go into the new year, into 2024, knowing that these are the truths that you need to work on, you know. These are the truths that you need to start implementing, you know, in 2024. Understand those truths and start implementing them, knowing that they are still, whether you accept them or not, they are still acting on you, you know, they're still acting on you. Another, and this is not part of whatever we've learned there, another thing that I understood then was that you must also start taking advantage of yourself, you know. Understand what are your strong points, understand what are your strengths, and start taking advantage of them because everybody else is taking advantage of you. Everybody. else is taking advantage of you. And being taken advantage of is not bad because everybody is using you for something, you know. Don't confuse being paid. If even I can pay you because I want to take advantage, you know, of that strength that you have, you know. Let's say you're good at web design. I'll pay you because I want to take advantage of that knowledge that you have, you know. Now, if you're not taking that knowledge that you have and also using it to your own advantage, taking advantage of that knowledge yourself, then who's losing? You know, it's you. So start taking advantage of yourself, knowing that everybody else is taking advantage of you, and it's only you who's not benefiting from it. Start start understanding your worth and start uh, uh, taking advantage of yourself. So number four was the importance of ideas. And in terms of ideas, I've had this from Jim Rohn. I've had this from uh, Myron Golden. I've had this from Dr. Miles Monroe about ideas. And even the way God speaks to us as human beings is through ideas. Like you just have an idea drop into your mind, and if you don't do it, if you don't act on it, then things start happening. You know, the time an idea comes to your mind, and you find that I need to prepare this, I need to acquire this for me to be able to execute that idea. If you don't do it, things are going to be thicker in the future, and you realize, you know, and this is what people say, you know, nilikuwa na hiyo idea, unaona, nilikuwa na hiyo idea, na kama ningechukua hiyo idea, kama ningefanya hiyo idea by the way, by saa hizi ningekuwa far. Never regret. Try out the ideas that you have. God will always give you ideas. Dr. Miles Monroe talks about how you know a good idea from a good idea, and he has a way of actually filtering and understanding what God idea is all about, what God idea is, and what bad ideas or just human ideas are. And one of the things that you need to do is just jot down all the ideas that you have, whether good or bad, just jot them down, you know. Write everything that you have in your head down, and then and this depends with whatever religion you're in. I'm a Christian, so take the Bible and then use the Bible to actually sieve through the ideas that you have, because the Bible has is the manual, and then you can use it to filter out the ideas that are not godly. You know. Now that means you must understand the Bible, and most people claim to be Christian, claim to be Muslim, claim to be whichever religion that they claim to be, but they don't know anything. They haven't read. They don't understand their own religion. You know, and this is the importance of you learning. Don't just listen to the pastors. Don't just go to the church. Read the Bible for yourself. Read the Quran for yourself. Understand it. Understand what it says. Ask God for wisdom. You know, ask the Holy Spirit to minister to you, but read it for yourself. And once you understand it, then you're able to apply into your life, into the things that you're doing, you know. But when you are claiming to be a Christian and everything that you know is what the pastor has told you, then you don't know anything about your own religion. You just know everything probably about your denomination, you know. So if you are Catholic, probably you know everything that needs to be done as a Catholic, because to be a Catholic you need to behave this way. To be a Baptist you have to behave this way. A Protestant you have to behave this way, you know. And they will train you. They will take you to classes to indoctrinate you on that specific denomination, right? But who's indoctrinating you on the Bible? You know, because they will read the verses that make sense to them, but they will not read the whole Bible to you. That's your work. It's your work to go through the Bible, read every single section. For me, I've taken time to read. I've read it full, cover to cover, like 5, 6 times. And the reason why I do this is to understand that book. You cannot come quoting verses to me to try and put me to this corner or to make me understand things differently. I understand them the way I understand them, and you have to explain it. If you are talking about the Bible, you have to explain it using the Bible. And I don't claim to be knowledgeable about it, but at least I need that knowledge. I can't claim to be a Christian when I don't know what Christianity is all about, what the Bible is all about. I need to read it so that when I'm claiming to be something, I know, I know it. I know what it says, and I can sit down and say, I'm not going to follow that because I think when I read this verse, it didn't say that. And it's important because so many people are being burdened by so many things because they cannot, they haven't read the Bible for themselves. So an idea will come to you, but because you don't know whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, you're afraid to execute. You're afraid to execute. Eventually, you start saying business people are evil. Biashara ni kaa wizi, kufanya biashara ni kaa wizi. And one of the ideas that I got from all this training was, and this was from a certain rabbi that has written a book, Rabbi Daniel Lapin, I think. He's written, I think, business principles from the Bible. I read it, and it was so eye-opening. One of the things he said there was that business transactions are spiritual transactions, like business. And for me now, in my own understanding and going through so many other things, in my own understanding, I usually say business is the system God has given man as a way of taking him from being the tail to being the head. The only way you get from being the tail to being the head in anything is through business. And business is the exchange of value. It's not about money, it's the exchange of value. If you are coming to the marketplace without value, then you're not in any business. But if you go to the marketplace with value and you're expecting to exchange that value, you are actually serving people. And you don't need to do CSR or like giving back to the community if you're doing business. You don't need to, because when you're doing business, you're actually serving the community. And this was mind-blowing. We are always told to give back to the community, to do this, to do that. But if you are in business, you're always giving back to the community. You're always invested in serving that community. And it's for you to understand that that's what you do. If you're in business, you're in business to serve the community. Now the question is, what if you are employed? Even those people who are employed, the greatest lie they have been told is that they are not in business. Like there is employment and there is business. Everybody, whether employed, self-employed, in business, any entrepreneur, entrepreneurs think they are much better than an employee. There is nothing like that. An employee has one client, so they are in business with one client. If you are in business, if you are an entrepreneur, you're probably in business with so many people. But if you're an employee, you're in business with one client. You're a business owner with one client, and that's your employer. And if you go into your employment with the mindset of an entrepreneur, understanding that it's your work to deliver value to your community, And then you start understanding, you start understanding, uh, you start understanding that it's not about, it's not about whether you are employed or not. It's about the value you're giving, the value you're giving to that business, the value you're giving community that you're serving. And a community that you're serving, it could be that you're serving students if you're a teacher, you know. It could be you're employed by a school to serve students. So if you serve your students so diligently, you know that you're giving back to the community by raising up leaders and doctors, you know. So it's always that mindset shift. And this is probably something that I would say you, when you're going into the new year, understand that whether employed or in business, you're still in business. And your work is to deliver value to the marketplace. So how much value are you going to give the marketplace? That's the question you want to ask yourself. And now from there, then ideas are going to start coming to you. And here you're just one idea away from resolving some or even all of the challenges that you're experiencing currently. You know, just one idea away. And it doesn't matter whether you're employed or in business. You're just one idea away from like having your issues resolved by serving people. Because even Jesus Christ himself said, like, the those who want to be the first will have to be servants, you know, the servant of the people. Those people who are going to serve more people are actually going to be the topmost individuals. And that's the case in business. If you can come up with ideas of how whether your employer or your own business can serve more people, can deliver value to more people, then you can be assured that you will be at the top of the industry and you'll be among the most wealthy people in the world. And look at the businesses that are serving people in huge numbers. They are the businesses that are at the top because they are able to serve people. They are able to come up with systems that actually serve people in large groups. So you're just one idea away. We can't stress enough the importance of ideas. God will speak to you, will drop ideas into your mind, you know, and it's upon you to execute on those ideas. You know, uh, Daniel, Rabbi Daniel Lapin says that when this guy Moses, you know, when Moses went and found this burning bush, like for him, it was it's the way ideas come to you. You know, ideas come to you as a burning bush. You are the only one who can see them. You are the only one who can see whatever you are talking about. You know, your idea is given to you to execute. If you don't execute it, you're dying with great potential. This I think is Miles Monroe who says, you know, on the graveyard, that's where the greatest wealth lies, because there are ideas. People have died with ideas that could have revolutionized the way the world works, but you died with them because you are afraid. You know, you didn't know, is this idea the correct one or not? And basically, the reason why you don't know whether it's correct or not, whether it's from God or not, whether you're supposed to do it or not, whether that burning bush is actually demons burning the bush or God burning the bush, because you cannot tell, you cannot discern, then you shy away from execution and your work. And this is the reason why it's very important for you, if whatever religion that you're in, understand it very, very well. Read the book that they provide, you know. Now I know there is a big challenge, like the Bible is being changed here and there, being tweaked here and there. You know, only God shall help us. But base, remember that the only way you're going to get out of trouble. The only way that you're going to rise from the level you are in to the next level is through new ideas. And the mind is always generating new ideas. Based on the challenges that are there, you will have ideas. Now, act on those ideas. Don't shelve them. In 2024, don't shelve your ideas. Execute, execute and leave them to God. If you are a believer, leave them to God, leave them to God and execute. Your work is to execute. And I think it's on the same video, and we are going to be discussing this as we go on, in the next sessions that we're going to have about Jim Rohn, that he says, God has given you the easy part, and your easy part is just to do. And God has taken the bigger part. Your part is to sow. Your part is to take the seed, put it on the ground, water it, leave it. What if you are given the task of growing the tree? Like ungekuwa haulali ukifikiria hii mti how am I going to grow it? But God has set it such that your work is so simple. Even birds can do it, kwa sababu wakikula mbegu pale ianguke chini inaanza kumea. Yeah. So your work is so simple. It can be done by anything and anybody. It's just to sow the seed and see it grow. Now, as a human being, your work with the ideas that you have, your work is to execute on them and just do what you can, the best you can. And you're going to be talking about that type of philosophy as we go on into the next session. So the fifth thing that I want you to go with as we head on to 2024, and as you reflect on the year that has been, is the mystery of inspiration. And this for me, allowed me to be like burden, like ilinitolea a lot of burden ya kujaribu convince watu, like right now you're watching this and probably you're questioning what I'm saying. I'm not here to try and convince you. I'm here to disseminate that information. Biggest part of me doing this is for me to record my thinking as at this point, because I can guarantee you by the end of 2024, I'll be a different person. And looking back to these videos, I'll be like, wow, this was the starting point, These were the way I was thinking, So for me, is to try and inspire you. But if you're not inspired, it's okay, For Jim Rohn, in this video, he was saying, he gave this example of, Peter, when during that, what do we call it? When the Holy Spirit was dropped, and they had those to light kwa kichwa. He was talking about the way Peter rose and gave a very good speech, sermon at that point, and then the different reaction to the same sermon. Some people, we are told, were perplexed. Some didn't know what was happening. Some were angry, but they were believers. So, as a business owner, as a human being, your work is to go for the believers, is to go for the people who actually find value in what you are offering. Go for the people who find value in what you are offering. And those are the people, that is the mystery of inspiration, that you will crack a joke today, somebody laughs, another person frowns on it, and it's not in you to start questioning why this person is frowning on your joke and when another person is laughing when you make that joke. It's not your work to try and you know, when you deliver a message like this, to try and understand or figure out why some people are not inspired while others are inspired. Your work is to understand that the people who will not be inspired and the people who will be inspired, they are all on the same, you know, crowd. And your work is to like just say what you have to say and then get the believers, you know, get the believers. What you are looking for is go for believers. Some people will, some people won't. Some people do, some people don't. So when I deliver a message, some people will understand it, some people won't understand it, and it's okay, you know. And that lifted a lot of burden to understand that, you know, there are people that you are called here to serve. It's a group of people that you are called here to serve. Your work is to identify them, is to go for them, you know, bring them together. Now with technology, you are able to bring them together in groups, Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, channels, um, you know, whether it's channels on WhatsApp or channels on a Telegram, you know, all those are places where you can get your tribe together and serve the people that you are called to serve. And now those people who don't understand, those people who don't know what you're doing, those people who, you know, the mockers and the laughers, and those people who don't know what's happening, you know, they are there, they don't know what's happening, you know, their time will come, you know. And I think that for me was an eye opener. And I hope that as you get into 2024, you know, you will stop. Don't be burdened by the people who don't understand what you're doing. Don't be burdened by the people who are not understanding what you're doing, the people who are not your customers. You know, some people will buy, some won't. If a person is not your customer, don't beg them to be your customer. Just go on to the next. You know, if a person is not buying from you, go on to the next. You know, present. They say no, you go on to the next. And another thing that I had my own golden say in terms of, you know, that it's is that go for the no. You know, if you are in sales and people keep on saying no, go for the no. Let the no inspire you to go on to the next. Like expect it, expect the no, because the no's are going to come. But once you get the yes, your work is to go for 100 no's every day. So even if you get a yes, when you are at your 10th presentation, if you haven't received 100 no's, you are not yet done. So it's about the perspective, you know. If you could say, okay, I'm going to speak to, what I want is 100 no's. So if I had talked to 100 people and they all say no, I still haven't hit my goal. If 100 people say yes, I still haven't hit my goal, because my goal is for 100 no's, right? So it's a shift of mindset, and that's what I want us to go with in 2024. Look at what has happened. You know, with this new knowledge, look at what has happened over the year. You know, where is it that you found yourself trying to explain yourself to people who don't understand what you're doing? When are those instances where you found yourself being discouraged by those people who are not understanding what you're doing? And once you get to know that, then you will understand those situations, and then in 2024 you can be this, strong person that is going through those people who don't understand you to find out the group. It could be one, it could be 10, it could be 100, but go for those people who actually are seeing value in what you're delivering. So that was the fifth point that I got from that. Now, the sixth point was to be thankful, and this is something that it's very, very hard for people to do, being thankful for anything. When something happens, be thankful. Be thankful that it wasn't worse, you know. And one of the greatest challenge we have, even as just as humans, is that there is so much cynicism going around. And cynicism, basically, what it does is that it locks up the doors of your success. You know, if you are, if you are a cynic, and anything that you find anything that you see, any opportunity that you find, any trouble, because opportunities lie in difficulties, right? And if you find that difficulty, on all what you do is be angry, complain, and all those other manner of things, you will never find the opportunities that lie there. So your aim in coming here is not to be part of the bandwagon of people complaining about the taxes, about the high cost of living, uh, about the government, about the weather, anything, like anything that is happening it's a point of complaint to some people. And you want to be different. You want to be the person who's finding opportunities in those difficulties. Your question should always be, where are the opportunities in this? And then once those ideas start dropping into your mind, start executing on them. Start executing on those ideas, and then you're going to start seeing doors opening. And doors never open for people who are not in action. People who are not actively doing something. If you're stuck not doing anything, because you think that the economy is so harsh, and things are not working your way, and now you are at a point of inactivity, you will never find open doors. Open doors are always open, are found by the people who are actively doing something. So once the ideas start dropping in your mind, start acting, start actioning on them, and start seeing what is going to open the doors that are going to open, and things like that. So first of all, number 6, be thankful. Be thankful for the situation that you're in. Be thankful for your be thankful for your uncle who took your CV and never got back to you. Now it's 5 years later. Be thankful. Be thankful about the government. When they increase taxes, you say, "Thank you, Lord." So it's the way you think about it. But if you are the person who wants to complain, you can still complain, and then we are going to learn from you. For me, as I told you, I don't try to find out why you are not understanding what I'm saying. Because what I'm saying will make sense to the person that I'm supposed to serve, right? And those are the people that I'm looking for. The story that I was telling you about Peter and speaking. You know what Jim Rohn said, and this was funny. He said that Peter didn't go back to the people who are laughing, to the people who are mocking, to try and find out. Rafiki yangu, nimekuambia vile Roho amesema. Roho amesema hivi. Na sasa eh, why are you mocking? Why are you laughing? Why are you dismissing my this information? He didn't go back to them. He went on to the next station, to the next city, to the next town where he preached, and he got another bunch of believers. And that's how you want to think about it. Don't be don't be the person who's so discouraged by that person who didn't accept your proposal, by that one company that didn't accept your proposal. Those were not the people that you are sent to serve. There are some other people, different group that you're supposed to serve. And the more you mourn the people that are not accepting your services, the more time you're taking from serving the people who you are actually supposed to serve. So, Nahaguna time, we said time is far much valuable than money as we started this. So you have no time to waste trying to make people understand anything. Your work is to say If people don't get it, go on to the next. And as you do that, probably you're going to be more eloquent and build more courage, more confidence in delivering your message. And that's the way to go. So don't be discouraged by anything. Now, the next thing he said was good. Listen well. Don't talk too much, my friend. Wacha kuongea sana, skiza. That's why you have to hear. Listen more than you're talking. Now, I know for those people who know me, they know me. I'm very talkative. And this is for the people who are talkative. I found, because I'm in that group of most talkative people. I found, you can dominate conversations and not listen, to people. And then if you're not knowledgeable and you're talkative, my friend, your stupidity will show. you know, your stupidity will show because you will be talking stuff that don't make sense, stuff that are wrong. So if you are talkative, you have only one route out, and that is learn, educate yourself, so that when you're talking things from a knowledge point of view. Then understand the multiplicity of perspectives from different people. Don't just think that your perspective is the correct one. People have different perspectives, and it's upon you as the person who's very talkative to listen to this, to understand all these perspectives, so that when you're speaking, you can speak from each perspective. Na hii sasa ni kwa watu kama mimi wale wanaongeanga sana. Just understand the different perspectives that people have, and then your life will be much easier when you are able to agree with people when they come with a different perspective. Because if you can't, utakuwa unakosana na kila mtu kwa sababu wewe unafikiria chenye unasema the right thing only to find there are other aspects, there are other point of views, there are other points that you didn't know about. So your work is to listen. Your work is to, when you're speaking, speak from a point of knowledge. So listen well. Listening well means educate yourself, listen to people's perspective, think about those other people's point of view, understand from where they are coming from, and then judge each perspective according to the things that are being said, or the points that are being put across. Because I know people judging people by other points. Like I have this point, and then you're trying to compare my point to that other point, and then judge my point as using another basis as opposed to the basis that I'm giving you. Like right now, if we were to go to, we are arguing, or we are discussing or debating a certain point of view from the Bible. What you want to do is to understand that Bible. And that's the reason, one of the reasons why I read the Bible so much and try to understand, and asking God, give me wisdom. It's because it's very important for you to understand it, so that when you speak from a point of knowledge, right? So listen, and listen well. The next thing he said was take good notes. Wewe kama umesikiza na unaelewa, sasa chukua notes, andika notes. So that you are able to refer to those notes. Those notes are, like when we are speaking like this. The first time I heard that video, nilisikiza nikaisikiza tena na tena, like so many times, mpaka hizo zikaingia kwa kichwa, because it's important for you to have that knowledge inside you. Si kitu chenye unajua tu, ni kitu chenye una experience. Something that you are actually doing and seeing the results. And notes are good because whenever you have a session with somebody and you're taking notes, you'll be able to refer to them as you go along. But right now the best thing, then probably hawakuwa na hizi internet, YouTube na nini, but right now I would say take a video, even of yourself. Like for me, these videos that I'm doing are more for me, to go refer and see my thoughts, see my own thoughts. And then as I grow, I'll be able to see the growth in me in terms of my understanding of the basic truths, So make sure that you're taking notes, make sure that you're taking those videos, record yourself. If you have an idea, record yourself, Si lazima uandike pahali. I know we were being told, keep a notebook. Right now you can have voice recording, you can have some videos, record yourself, post it on YouTube. You can have it as a private video on YouTube, or you can have it live, published, and if you have it if you are recording your thoughts on a video and you are putting them on YouTube, they are there for the longest time, and you'll be able to go back and see. So record yourself on your phone, just record yourself about your thoughts, put it there so that it doesn't, fill up the space on your phone, and you can have it on Google and on YouTube, and it's not going to charge you anything. And if you have a Gmail account, you do have storage for your videos. So that's number 8. Take good notes. For me, I would say take good videos, of whatever you're learning. If you go hear something very good, a very good point, like venye tunaongea hapa saa hizi, usikie ka point kazuri kamoja, go record yourself, post it on YouTube, and put it at a private, or you can even publish it, and there's no problem with that. Now, the last part is to don't be a follower, but be a student. Be a student of life. Most people, and the reason why I say this, is that, make sure that I have seen people, if you come to me and I give you an advice and tell you, you know what, you can do this, you can do this, you can do that, and then you go execute it the same way I told you, there is a problem there. You're supposed to take advice from different people, think about them, ponder on them, think about the situation that you're in, and then come up with your own conclusion, and now act on that conclusion that you have come up with. Now, most people who act on advices is because they don't want to take responsibility of their action. So you find somebody, you give them this advice, they go do. Then they come back to you for another advice, you give them, they go do the same thing, without actually assimilating the information you're giving them and then applying it for their specific situation, because each situation is different, So you want to get the information assimilated, and then use it for your specific situation. But those people who want to take raw information and execute, niliambiwa nipitie hapo, acha nipitie, na sasa ukipata kuna shimo unaenda kublame the guy who told you to walk through that route, and probably when he moved through that route there was no holes and mashimo huko, but now there is, so it's upon you to go understand, okay, you're telling me to pass through this route because it took you to this other station and things like that, but in my situation this route has this pothole, so I need to take a detour like this. Think, use your brain to think. Don't just be a follower. Like if you're told go to Shakahola and fast to death, no questioning, you follow. Don't be a follower, be a student. Go ahead, be a student of the Bible, be a student of life, be a student, learn as much as you can from different people, but do not be a follower. Don't follow blindly. Don't follow blindly. Whatever action you take, anything that you do, let it be out of your own conclusions, out of your own points, and then that way you're going to own the consequences. You're going to be committed to the decisions that you're making. But if you're always looking for other people to make decisions for you and for you now to, at some point when things don't go as you expected them to go, you'll be blaming them. And then now you're back to the point where you're blaming all you got. You're starting to be a cynic. You're starting to be, just whining and complaining for no good reason, and you will never be able to move forward. So I think those are the 9 things that are very, very important for you coming to next year. Try to execute, try to go back to this video, see those points, understand them, and see how you can execute them coming next year. But also see instances throughout this year where you have had an opportunity to do those things that we've talked about and you didn't, or you did, and see the successes that have been there. So thank you very much. It's been an hour and a half. Make sure that you're subscribing to the channel and sharing, and also make sure that you watch some other video that I did on Dr. Byron Golden about how to influence, and how to do the things that you want to do. Why is it that you find yourself doubting, not having faith? Go look at that video, and I know it's going to be very, very helpful. Thank you very much, and see you next Monday.